different titles you could have had for your show besides More Stories. I really feel like you gave it about a day. You thought about it for about a day, but you could have taken another couple days.
Well, it's like talking shit with Jim Jeffries and Eddie Ift is now talking shit with Eddie Ift, and you can't put shit on iTunes, so
I know,
it's
you gotta
talking
go WTF.
It's talking apostrophe S, new line, indented, capital HIT, with Eddie Ift. And me and John Heffron were talking about this. Like, it should just be the Eddie Ift podcast.
Yes.
If people wanted to find it. Last time I was... I want to tell the listeners, your podcast comes out Tuesdays at noon. So after you download this, More Stories, Greg is a good dude. He's a great comic. And I don't steer you guys wrong, so I'm not going to wash his balls that long. And download his podcast and let him know on Twitter. Do you really do the tweeting?
At Greg Fitz Show. Yeah, I'm all over it.
Yeah, we were connected for a little while on that, and then I just keep clearing it out and bringing it back and clearing it out and bringing it back. Oh,
you're friends?
Yeah, it's like people follow 300 people and like fake news and The Onion. I'm like, why are you following fake shit? It's weird, right?
I'll follow anybody that I would stay in a comedy room to watch. Or Daily Show, like stuff that I will seek out and watch.
You're not following not The Daily Show.
No.
And that seems to be something people are a little obsessive with, like not Phil Jackson or, fake Sarah Jessica Parker. Like, I don't...
Yeah, no, I don't like parody. I barely like the people in the first place. And I don't like anyone who tweets. Like, there's people I like, and they just won't fucking stop tweeting, and I got to drop them, even if I like them.
I had that happen recently. So yours comes out Tuesday.
Tuesdays
and
Fridays.
Greg Fitzsimmons show.
It's Fitzdog Radio.
Don't you see how confusing this is? You have a radio show called Fitzdog Radio.
No, radio show is the Greg Fitzsimmons Show. Podcast is called Fitzdog Radio. The radio show is live at 7 o'clock Pacific time on Howard Stern's channel 101. And we have a guest.
Why don't you just suck the guy off already? You remember where we were last?
Chinatown?
Wasn't that great?
San Francisco was so fucking good hanging out with you.
That's the thing. Greg and I think if we had a documentary crew with us, it would have been like in the time capsule to show the aliens. And then there's other groups of here's a group of itinerant preachers that go from town to town to spread the words. We call them comics. They're odd, they're loners. A lot of them have deep dark holes in the middle. Here's two that don't, but this is how all of them usually act. And I hadn't seen you in 8 years. Would you agree?
Probably about 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
And we texted and we had like inside jokes of people we knew. And it was like, what are you doing right now? I'm like, I'm at my hotel. You're like, I'm at my hotel. You're like, all right, meet me at Chinatown. We'll go eat. And then you're like, I know this great, typical two comics in Strange City. Oh, I know the best dim sum place. I know the best. It's like having an older brother. Anytime two comics get together, one of them is the older brother. Like, I know the best place. No. Follow me, bro. I know the best place. Yeah. Okay. And then we're just going in circles. You're like,
no idea where it is.
Yeah, it's like a bar like called Rawhide, and then a bar called the White Swallow. And
the journey. It was not about the destination. It was about the journey.
Apparently, it was
walking
about the
around,
journey.
just laughing our asses off.
We went into a place. It was a corner lot, and it was floor-to-ceiling windows looking out at just the world of San Francisco. And it was busy as hell. It was Saturday because that's the only day you're going to catch any comic awake at 1 p.m.
Right.
And there was that ugly-ass fish tank where they just stare at you, and
That's
you're
right.
like, am I supposed to pick? Is this for decoration, or do I pick one of these guys?
Yeah.
And we ate, and it was good. And they kind of we were the only people there.
And Which is never a good sign. You're usually wary of that, but I knew the place.
It was that really. I figured there's nobody there because it was just between shifts and keep it safe. And then they kind of made over us, which was not because they knew who we were, just like, they were just very nice, made over us. They were very glad we were there.
Yep.
And then we just sat there. It had to have been 2 hours. We were drinking freaking tea. They bring over the hot tea.
It was great.
And then we all went. You went back to yours. I went back to mine. Took naps. We both had shows that night.
And then you called me at like midnight. And you're like, "What are you doing?"
I was all railed out on coke.
And you're like, "Hey, let me come by and say hi." I was like, "Great." So meanwhile, that day we had talked, and we're like, here we are, two guys that used to party, used to fuck around, all that. And we're talking that day about how, I don't drink. We have wives. We don't cheat. We live these lives. And then all of a sudden, to get to my hotel, I have to go down and get them. They call me and say, you have a visitor. I come down. And as I come down and get them, I've got a non-alcoholic beer in my hand, which Jay thinks is a beer after me saying I'm 20 years sober. And then there's a chick on the elevator with us, shit-faced, who recognizes both of us and follows me back to my room.
Yeah, she had the room where the doors in the hotel hallway that are bizarrely close together. Like, who designed this?
Yeah.
And it's only on that one floor where your door touches her door. And then she came in your room.
No, she put one foot in, and we were like, okay, that's good. That's good right there.
Do you remember what I said to her?
Show me your tits.
No, you're a fool.
No, I don't remember.
The timing was impeccable, my friend. Greg Fitzsimmons, everybody. I said, you realize this is how girls get raped. But I wasn't trying to be funny. It's just astounding to me that a girl alone in San Francisco is just about to walk into a hotel room with two just comics.
Yep.
And like, for all she,
And she's wasted.
Gone.
And you were like a cop.
You gotta go.
You treated her like you were a police officer.
Nothing to see here, honey.
But the best part was I'm standing here with the beer and the chick before you see me. And you're like, what was lunch? Was that a big PR spin job?
No, you're wrong. You said to me the next day, it was Sunday. We both had Sunday shows. I was at Cobb's, you were at the Punchline.
Yeah.
Same owner. It's too bizarre for words. God, I love those places so much. And then you go, hey, I just realized I told you I don't drink and how happy am I married. You meet me in the elevator. I'm holding like 4 non-alcoholic beers. 2 of them are open, and I got a drunk chick with me in the elevator. And I go, do you remember? I go, I swear to Christ, it never even crossed my mind, which either means I like you so much or I am just an idiot.
Or no, we're just itinerant preachers. And it's really, and if they were to ask, well, what's their job description? What are the demands? Well, they usually show up a little bit after they're supposed to be there. What's the dress code? Anything. What do they drink? During the job, they drink, they smoke, they curse, they make fun of the owner, they make fun of the boss.
It's construction, really.
For an hour. And then they make more than everybody else who's working at the club, including
construction foreman. I can tell all these houses being built around here, and you can always tell right when they're about to end. Not too many lunch trucks. All of a sudden, the white guys swoop in with their goddamn collared shirts and their khaki pants. Like everyone from El Salvador, Nicaragua, Panama, to all through Mexico, the Mexican peninsula, California, all that shit. Every brown-skinned person from every brown-skinned place are breaking their balls, cutting boards, sawing, hammering, and then like 8 months go by. And then one day you get out to go to work, there's just like 4 guys in khaki pants and clipboards like, yeah, it looks pretty good, man.
We did it.
Really nice. We did it. We did a really good job. Hey, measure once, cut twice, right? Or whatever the fuck they say.
Measure twice.
That's something for fucking Corolla to answer.
Yeah. And what's amazing is then those guys, wherever he came from, El Salvador, guy was a surgeon.
Yeah.
And they come over and you're like, God, they're good carpenters. Yeah, because he actually owned a construction company.
Yeah, he cuts people. Boards ain't shit.
Yeah.
The guy that does work at this house and my other house that we used to have, Edie Bar, he's a Russian guy. He's super cool, like Liam Neeson, handsome.
Yeah.
And he's got a really sweet son. His wife was a doctor in Moscow, and she's here now learning to become, she has to learn English first. And it's just a matter of time. She will be a doctor when she gets her English together, when she can figure out the test. He was a detective in Moscow.
That's hardcore detective.
Yes.
KGB shit.
Yes. Again, Quinn. Yes. Like 1990.
He did one jazz hand on that, by the way.
Yes, because that's what he would do. Oh, buddy,
you cocksucker. And he gets you in a headlock, and bites his knuckle.
He would try, but Meredith will get me.
Oh.
And then, so now he's here. Like he redid my deck. I had a leak in my laundry room, but he's this weird cement wood savant where he comes in the house and he goes here, and he walks around. He doesn't touch anything, and he goes downstairs into the laundry room and he goes here. It comes through the chimney and here, and I'll talk to him, and he says some shit I don't understand, and then he gives me the bill, and it's oddly not raping me.
Well, because he has no license, and if anything happened, he'd be gone.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, he's got
With
no
his
license.
wife getting a doctorate on the hook?
You can't imagine what people do when they're here illegally. It's amazing what you can do.
I heard
on
sometimes
the grid.
they wash dishes at restaurants.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You go to a restaurant, there's guys out there undocumented washing dishes at like diners and shit, man. Shit's
But-
real out there, man.
How do they get home? Oh, they've got the Timberlands and the bicycle.
Amazon.
Isn't that so sad? I'm driving home. I drive home from a gig where I worked for fucking 40 minutes and was way overpaid in a nice car. And here's some motherfucker in a pair of fake Timberlands pumping a bike that was made for an 11-year-old up a hill to go home from his 12-hour shift. And he's getting up in the morning to go to another job.
Yeah.
The bike's always way too big or way too small.
That's a great point, Matty boy.
You have to stand on a curb to get on it, or you have to ride it with your knees.
Yeah. And there's no lights. There's no reflectors. There's just a lot of electric.
You know what there
tape.
is, though? A head on a swivel. Who's coming after me? Because you know they didn't buy that goddamn bike.
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
He works.
He works look, when I works hard.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
When
I works
hard.
hard.
Can't jump.
What show plays it all the time? What radio show do they play that all the
Opie
time?
and Anthony.
No. Guess two.
Phil Hendry.
You're a prick. Use the Amazon banner on jmoore.com. Dear JJ, my birthday is in a month, and I'm throwing a themed LMFAO party to battle the winter blues. That would make me more sad if I had to play LMFAO music. Do you know that band?
Yeah, I like him.
Do you really?
Yeah, I mean,
it is actually
certain
like
pop songs. I just go, you know what? Yes.
I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I have to be honest here, and I've never heard a syllable or a note, so I'm not going to slam them. So she's going to have a party. This is our friend Shannon M. in South Lyon, Michigan. So I thought I would buy my party supplies at Amazon.com through your link at jmoore.com.
But doesn't that cost her extra money?
No, you're a prick. It saves them a lot of money.
I'm trying to say, you're supposed to go, no, it's no extra cost at all.
It's the
to go
exact
through
same amount of
Right.
money. And plus I read them on air, making you famous for your friends that you share this podcast with.
That's really
Get
cool.
the J Moore. Let me get through this. Come, we get back to your story because you're the guest. Get the J Moore More Stories app. I bought a 6-foot Rockstar backdrop banner. That's cool. A dozen 80s shutter shades. Now I'm showing up at this chick's house. Shutter shades?
Yeah.
I'll rock the fuck out of shutter shades, bro. You would too. You know you would. Don't give me that look. Shutter shades on Matty Boy? Crushing it.
How come Matty doesn't get a mic? Do we hear what he's saying on the show?
He knows because he's wearing. He said I like French door shades instead of shutter shades. I think that one might have rimmed out. Your first one ever. Party Rock Crew shirt from my husband's costume. Thank you for all the fun. He loved the podcast. Shannon M. South Lyon, Michigan. MI is Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. South Lyon, Michigan. And then there's photos of what she bought. Her
Can
fun.
I just mention one thing about your Amazon people?
What is it?
A lot of them get gift cards for the holidays, and you got to spend them. You know, go to your site and click, then use your gift card you got for the holidays.
You don't have an Amazon banner on your show?
I do, but I'm sending them to yours.
I think when I was on your podcast, I sent them to yours. Wait. I thought you
Sent
said
them-
I'm a right spider.
I'm sending them to you.
All right.
You go on top usually?
So San Francisco, Punchline went well. Cobb's went great. It was in June. Perfect time. June in San Francisco, it gets, it's up there. It's like 26 degrees.
And you're right, man. San Francisco, I just walk around and write. I don't know what it is. Just I get inspired to write shit, and the crowds are so accepting and kind of progressive that they support. They want to hear it. We don't want to hear your old shit.
How come when I Google search Greg Fitzsimmons, the second thing is Greg Fitzsimmons' young wife?
Really?
Yeah. What is Erin?
No, she's actually 4 months older than me.
I thought you say she's 4 months old. And I was like, I think I hear the cops coming up the driveway.
Actually, Dane Cook did a funny bit the other night about he was talking about how he just fucked a girl who's 21 and what is he 40 or whatever. So he's like, yeah, I can just. She's like, when you were 20, when you graduated high school, I was 1. He's like, yeah, I can remember got my diploma and I just pointed you in the crowd and I went, I'm gonna fuck that baby.
I've defended Dane on this podcast for a very long time.
I love Dane.
Well over a year.
Yeah.
But a lot of people give him so much shit. And
He's
I just
a comic.
Yeah.
He's a fucking comic who's doing what he does the best he can. And
he inspired me. Him and I
Jesus.
used to do like you know, I'd either follow him or he'd follow me at the Laugh Factory. And I remember it was like a real friendly, fun thing. Like he'd go up and do 20 minutes. And it wasn't bullshit like I'll do an hour and screw this guy up behind me. And I remember once I had all this new stuff and it was like, and you get a blowjob and she puts her finger in your ass. That's how you know you got to marry her. It was like just gross and disgusting. And it was like, you ever getting blown and you fart